People, I want to talk about something. There were, um, when my family in the early 80s moved out to Arizona, my dad and his brother had started a painting business in Florida, B&T Painters, Bill and Tommy. Bill was my dad, Tommy was his brother. They started a painting business out there, and because of government regulations, they couldn't get licensed to paint houses. So my dad and my mom got aggravated over this. They were even being fined and stuff if they were caught painting anything. Because in Florida in the early 80s, you had to have a builder's contractor's license. You had to be capable of building the house, plumbing it, electrifying it, drywalling it, and everything else before you were even going to get a license to paint it. That's a fact. So my dad and his brother dropped that business in Florida, and his brother went back to Tennessee, and my dad and my mom and half my family moved to Arizona, and they opened the business up out there. Now, they went out there a couple of years before I left Florida and went out there. And so he had already started his business with advertising and stuff. And folks, I know you guys don't even know what it means to advertise other than on YouTube, Facebook, all these other platforms. No, I'm talking advertising as far as newspapers, yellow pages, and penny savers around town, putting up signs, going out, passing out business cards. That's how you advertised back then. And we did all that, and we built his business up. And he started doing a lot of government work and stuff because my dad, when we built my dad's business, we went all in 100%. Licensed, bonded, insured. We could do multi-million-dollar homes. We could do commercial work. We could do it all, and we did it all from time to time. But my dad got involved in a town on let's see, east side of Mesa, on the south side of the Superstition Mountains in Arizona. It's called Gold Canyon. Now, Gold Canyon was basically a retirement home, a retirement neighborhood, I should say, of people who come from the Northeast, come down here, and they bought all that land on the let's see, what side of the Superstition? Oh, south side of the Superstition Mountain, called Gold Canyon. 55 and older to live there. This was back before me and my dad painted a lot of houses out there, so we know it was there. But they were all retired people from like the Northeast, Ohio, Indiana, New York, all over the place, because it was a large neighborhood of houses. These weren't apartments or anything. These were all houses. They had two-car garages. They had their own golf carts. And they could drive anywhere on the property because there was a golf course. And they could drive their golf carts through the neighborhood and go up They had the clubhouse that had restaurants and stores and pharmacies and everything in it. These people didn't have to they didn't have to drive their car out of that neighborhood. But at my dad's business, we were doing a lot of work out in there for these older folks. And it was a lot of all advertisement, and we word of mouth. And my dad, it started freaking me out because my dad would go in. They called his business for an estimate. He'd go out in his van, or his van, his truck, whatever. He'd give them an estimate. They'd agree to it. And then the day, if it was a big job, then my dad, me, my brother, and everybody else that was working for my dad at the time would be on the job the next day. If it wasn't that big of a job, which was about 60% of the time, me or my brother and maybe somebody else would show up to do the job. Now, there was a lot of these guys that lived in this neighborhood, or that lived in this Gold Canyon area, that came from a certain spot somewhere in Ohio. Somewhere. I don't remember where they were saying they were from, but there was like about 20 of these houses that these people all came from the same city. And we were doing, once my dad got in with one, any of them that wanted any painting done inside or out, they called my dad, and we came out to do it, Once we got into that 20 group that came from some city in Ohio now. So I was the one that was handling most of these jobs. A lot of them was a room, a bathroom, a kitchen, bathroom, maybe they wanted the whole outside done, which then me and another guy would come in. But once my dad bid it and stuff, maybe even it was me and my dad doing it. And but these people started looking at me. Now I'm a lot younger than I am now. No facial hair, no hat, and I was pretty beefed up at the time. Hillbilly still, though, 100%. These people were telling me, "What's your name?" I'm Brian. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Why are you messing with us? I'm going, what are you talking about? These people are telling me that I came from the town that they lived in, folks. That I came from there. Because all these people came from the same town. They came down, bought these houses, had them built in this neighborhood so that when they were at home during the summer and spring and fall, they could come down to these houses in the winter when it got cold for a few months, and then they didn't have to deal with all that cold crap, and they would spend time down there in Gold Canyon. And all of these people claim, you look like him. It'd be more like this, but you look like him. You sound like him. Your voice is deep like him. You're built like him. You walk like you have been working on you have been doing stuff in Ohio for us for a long time. Why are you even denying it? That's what these people are telling me, folks. I'm not lying to you. I lived by that time in probably 9 states, maybe 8 by that time. And Ohio was never one of them. Nowhere. The only thing I liked about Ohio was Kings Island, and it was about 130 miles from where I grew up. And when I got a little older, we would go over there whether our parents liked it or not and go ride the rides. That was the best thing I even liked about Ohio. I'd never had no want to live there. Now, I wanted to know about Texas and Arizona, and I lived in all over the place, Florida. I wanted to know. Ohio was not on the list, and I used to tell these people all the time, listen, I'm telling you right now, I ain't never lived in Ohio. I have no Ohio. I have no want to live in Ohio. I will never live in Ohio. That's what I used to tell them. They're like, whatever. And they walk away. But then they call my dad up if they had any. And they swore I worked in their neighborhood doing the same thing in Ohio. Well, I now have lived in Ohio for 7 years, but I don't do any painting or any of that construction stuff. I don't do none of that no more. So it still couldn't have been me. But they claim they knew me. Many people have claimed that on me. Why? I don't know. A lot of them might be because they have met me in the 11 states and 50 cities I've lived in my life. But I don't even know why I'm telling you this story. I didn't have nothing else to talk about. So that's what you get from Papa. And that's what my family calls me today. I go by many names, folks. Big. I've been son, daughter, or not daughter. Dad. Papa. Watati. My real name, and some names we don't need to repeat. God loves you guys. I love you guys. I'm just giving you something to listen to in order for maybe one day I need to come back and listen to this to remember what my past was. You think? Love you guys. Seek Jesus. Don't listen to me. Other than seeking Jesus. Till then, next time, guys. This year can't get no worse than last year. It can only get better. If it doesn't, we know who to hold accountable. And we will watch and see.